I want to start out by saying today was perhaps one of the worst days that I could possibly think of to begin this adventure of the Grateful Tribe. But in the midst of a pretty bad day of getting less than a few hours of sleep, of sleeping after the sunrise and feeling cloudy and gloomy and down and just unprogressive, unproductive, and just not good about myself, after lunch, I was laying down and I was just thinking, where is this day going? Nothing good is going to come out of today. And then I thought, what if I could? What if I could take today, which would be going to the trash can of no progress, and turn it into a day that I will always remember? We are always just one day, one decision away from completely changing our life. And why couldn't I make that day today? And with that, I want to introduce you to the Grateful Tribe, which is more so for me an inner journey of being mindful to be grateful, which I believe is one of the greatest things that we could possibly enrich ourselves with on a day-to-day basis, to feel wealthy right here and right now as we progress towards our greater potentials. With that, let's dive deeper into what happened today psychologically for me that got my ass out of bed and to the gym, even with like 3 hours of sleep, and made today something special, which is the launching of this community. On my journey of starting from nothing, literally born in a mud house in a third world country and getting the privilege to go to a first world country and start my journey of education and then entrepreneurship and trying to make something out of my parents' sacrifices, I've also rooted for the underdogs in every story, movie, or real life example. And one of my favorite movies of all time is Limitless. For any starting and inspiring entrepreneur, I highly recommend this. Although we don't have the NZT drug that allows us to go from this mess of a life before to the potential and the manifestation of all that we could be, I think it shows an example of how applying ourselves without such medication, but rather maybe through focus, through effort, through conscious engineering, we could go from the mess of our life in the current state to organizing it little by little and getting to a completely new direction, unrecognizable from the before and after. And someone who does a really good job of encapsulating this idea is something I heard from Joe Rogan about being the hero of our own movie.
Be the hero of your own movie. If your life was a movie and it started now, forget about whatever financial disasters you've had, personal failures, relationship failures. What would the hero of your life's movie do right now? Do that. Do those things. We define ourselves far too often by our past failures. We look at our past and we say, well, that's me. That's not you. You are this person right now. You're the person who's learned from those failures, and you can choose to be the hero of your own movie right now. Write down your goals. Write down things you want to improve. Write down things you won't tolerate from yourself. Write down things that you've done in the past that you never want to see yourself do again.
About imagining a camera crew filming us in this current state of our being, whether everything is a hot mess right now, whether we didn't get enough sleep, whether it feels like one of those days where it's just boring and nothing's happening and life is going nowhere and it seems mundane and dreary and you're pessimistic and what's it all for? And from that point, that kind of rocky vibe when you're down and out, and we love to see the underdog coming up and doing the training and picking themselves up and overcoming their doubts and fears. We love seeing that, but becoming that and being that for ourselves takes a lot of courage. And I think we can use social media to be that camera crew and to document our journey. And this is a part of that for me, is to take my life in the mess of disorganized state that it's in, as much as it may look like from the outside that it's going well. There's a lot of internal things that I'm dealing with that I'd love to hear, organize, or put out in front of you the full laundry of things that I have to organize and kind of build myself up as I'm kind of working through it live here in these videos in front of you, to see the progress of how I've been, the areas I need to fix, how that's going, how I'm messing up, how I'm learning from that, reiterating, and ultimately making progress. And that is the big picture I want to capture. In saying that, let this be an example of someone who's turning what would otherwise be a very normal, unproductive day into the beginning of that documentation of the movie that you will get to see unfold in front of you. And I want to end by saying the point of this name, this brand, is a reminder to myself to be mindful of the time, of the consciousness, of the gift that we have all been granted, which is life, and to be grateful for even the worst of days, even the gloomiest of days, and to be mindful enough to take action during that time, because at the end of our life, or when we face an even darker situation, we would do anything to be back in these boring, unproductive days and realize and awaken to what we could have done and the potential that was dormant in that day that we did not seize. And this is an attempt for me to actually live the life that I will not regret, and to do it publicly, to hopefully not just connect with like-minded people that know they have something greater inside of them. I think gratefulness is the path to greatness, and I want to demonstrate that through my own life story. So welcome to this adventure, and let's continue to grow together and be mindful of the gratefulness and greatness within us all. See you on the next.